Kids, they understand more than you think. And here to help us grown-ups understand their needs to encourage emotional intelligence in our little ones is psychologist Amy Trout. Good morning. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks.
Great to have you back. We're talking emotional intelligence today, and I'm sitting here, kind of reflecting on this. My son just turned 1, and I'm thinking all the things that tender little age that he is already picking up and soaking up from me.
Absolutely.
What do you mean by emotional intelligence, and why is it important to kind of model behavior?
Yeah. So kiddos, we teach them how to say the ABCs and how to brush their teeth and all these things. But we don't really do a good job of formally teaching about emotions and having a language for their emotions and being able to really, if you can name your emotions, you can kind of work to tame them. But you have to know what's going on inside. And little kiddos, you're right, they're sponges. They pick up everything. And they have feelings, and they can talk about their feelings, and they can talk about the way that their emotional lives run, even if it kind of sounds a little wild and out there. But we have to create the spaces and help them get a language for that.
Right.
Kids do better, in all different domains of life. Kids do better, adults do better when we're able to talk about the way we're feeling.
Is there a certain age that you want to start that, or pretty much as soon as you see the signs and see that they are really paying attention to you?
Well, verbal kids, as soon as they're verbal, they can start talking about how they feel. But even before that, you can say things to your babies, when you're playing with them, like, oh, is that funny? It looks like you're happy. You look joyful, and you can kind of start naming things, or even you can talk about your own emotions with your kiddos.
Just kind of building that language.
Right, like it's normal to talk about the way we feel.
Right. And another way, you're talking about the way you feel, there is also negative responses sometimes. So we want to talk about correcting negative responses as well, right?
So like in ourselves, right, as parents, we're going to have a range of emotional expressions, and sometimes we're going to blow it and we're not going to really react the way we want to. And it's okay to go back and say, like, Mommy got upset over that, and I didn't really mean to. I'm sorry, or I should have been calmer when I reacted to this. I was frustrated. It's okay to really come back and label things as they really are instead of pretending like everything we do is okay, because it's not. We're going to blow it, and it's okay for kiddos to see that.
And you really want to kind of build emotional stability, right?
Absolutely. We want them to be able to say the way they feel, and for us to be able to say how we feel, obviously without overburdening our children, but being able to label the way we're actually feeling so that we're able to kind of get it under control. If it's kind of coming out of nowhere and we don't really know what's going on inside of us, and we're just sort of fueled by emotions that just don't even have a name, it's very hard to get a handle on those. So
yeah, we were talking, and you actually used yourself as an example. Sometimes it's so hard. You really do have to sometimes learn to think before you react, right?
It's so hard with kids, like with our own kids especially. I think, this morning I moved my kiddo's juice cup because it looked like it was going to get knocked over, and he said, that hurt my feelings. Brand new language for him. He's 3, and I said, and what I wanted to say was, look, silly, you almost knocked it over. But I stopped myself and said, it hurt your feelings. I'm sorry, what hurt you about that? And he said, well, I was going to get a drink, and I looked, and you moved
it. And it was gone.
And I said, and then he smiled very big that he had a chance to talk about it. I gave him a hug, and I said, okay, well, I put it over here because it looked like it was going to fall, but I'm very sorry that hurt you. Maybe next time I'll tell you when I'm moving something.
Because the point of that being that he has every right to feel that way.
Absolutely.
Right? And you don't want to dismiss that. And you mentioned creating spaces. What exactly do you mean by creating spaces?
Instead of shutting them down, and again, it's so hard. I'm guilty of this, but instead of shutting your kids down when they say something that doesn't match your own emotional experience, it can be very easy to get defensive and say, especially with older kids, like, what do you mean, that feels unfair? Are you kidding me? In my life when I grew up, you don't want to do that. You just want to listen to what they're saying. That feels unfair, tell me about that. Gosh, I'm really sorry that feels unfair. If you want my side of it, that's fine, but don't just jump in to tell them what you are thinking or what you were doing. Let them have space to feel and to be, and to have a reaction to life.
Person as well.
Yeah.
If somebody's going through some struggles with families and raising kids, we always say we wish there was there's no instruction book when it comes to parenting. But what do you suggest people do if they're going through a situation like this and they want to reach out for some help, or maybe just to know that you're not alone out there? Sometimes I think is just to know that other parents are going through that. What do you suggest that they do?
Well, there's some great self-help books on kind of managing and regulating your own emotions. There's support groups online, but you can also reach out for professional help, and Cornerstone Consulting can certainly help as well.
Perfect. Amy, thank you so much. And if you want more about what Amy talked about today, or maybe you have other things that you're working on with your family, head to our website. We'll have more on what Amy talked about at fox4morningblend.com.